Ever since the achievement grind began over a year and a half ago, my parents have been begging me to cover 2 games. With Perfect Dark being one, that can only mean that it is finally time to cover Now, the Modern Warfare trilogy has a very special place in mine and my parents' lives, as a significant chunk of my childhood was playing COD with my parents. And for those of you that don't know, that is in fact where my name comes from. When me and my parents played COD together, their gamer tag was Jazzy Wazzik, which made me the son of Jazzy. So parents, thank you for the support, this one's for you. So for all 50 achievements in Modern Warfare, we are going to have to complete the campaign in its entirety, start to finish, on veteran difficulty, which is absolutely no joke. We have to find and collect every miscellaneous achievement on top of that before then ending on one of the most infamous achievements ever made, the Mile High Club. So let's waste absolutely no time and get straight into it. Welcome to the Achievement Grind. The game starts with a training day. We play as Soap McTavish as he joins his new team and shows off what he can do, from shooting on the range to our remarkable fruit killing skills. But the first true test is here as we meet Captain Price. It's time for the boat obstacle course, and for our first achievement we need to complete the course in under 19 seconds. We made a couple of small mistakes, but it went famously. Our first time was 18.2, a perfect result that also results in a new squadron record. Oh, but poor Jazzy didn't know that there's actually 2 achievements tied to this, so we'll have to come back later for the second attempt where we have to beat the course in 15.1 seconds. With this first win under our belts, it's time to crack on with the campaign proper by selecting Veteran. You will not survive. Yep, you got that right. We're not scared of anything here though, so we select it, end the mission, also unlocking Earn a Winged Dagger, and get thrown into the first true mission of Modern Warfare. A Russian informant has told the team of a boat that is supposed to be carrying a nuclear package. We need to storm said boat and get our hands on that device. Now, considering I don't really play many shooters nowadays, I was a little nervous about Veteran. However, thankfully the start of the mission is nice and calm. We expertly remove security as we make our way further throughout the boat. That soon changes as we enter the cargo storage of the ship and enemies begin firing back. Fortunately, it didn't hold me back too much. Taking it slow and steady definitely worked for this mission, as there is a ton of things to hide behind and stall with, so eventually we reach the package in question. It doesn't mean much though, as we find out missiles are inbound fast and we have no time for anything other than to grab the manifest and get the hell out of Dodge. When the ship explodes, we decide to take a little power nap. However, Price, the spoilsport, says this is actually the time to leave. So we sprint off the sinking ship, barely making it back to the helicopter, but we make it all the same, completing our first veteran mission in the campaign and unlocking making the jump for completing the mission and the package for doing so on veteran. Now, a lot of the achievements in this game are for completing missions normally and on veteran difficulty, so we're going to be unlocking a lot throughout the journey. With the first mission complete, we're then introduced to the villains of the game, so we know who we need to shoot the most. The coup is essentially a big cutscene that introduces the 2 bad guys, Imran Sakayev and Al-Assad, and shows Al-Assad executing the president of Saudi Arabia, completing his revolution in the West. But more on these gents later, as for now it's time to rejoin Captain Price, as our next mission is to save Nikolai, the Russian informant who told us of the nuclear weapons on the boat. He's got himself into a bit of a pickle and we're here to get him out. So we start to make our way through silently and sneakily, looking for where Nikolai is being held. In doing so, we also pick a couple more achievements up on the way. Now again, this isn't the hardest mission, most of it is stealth with a couple of sniping sections, and at our first sniping section is actually where we gained our first achievement. Now, some of you may know that I am collected in a manner most unusual, which means that the first chance I get, I hollow out the brains of 4 different enemies, and for getting 4 headshots in a row, that unlocks us 4 of a kind. A little moment later, as we're getting stormed by some bandits, in retaliation, I decide to blind myself, because why wouldn't I? But this also comes with a reward, as when I immediately panicked and fired aimlessly, I actually killed somebody, and for embarrassing an enemy when blinded, we also unlocked Daredevil. As I said, this wasn't the toughest mission. We died a couple of times, but it didn't take us long to find and save Nikolai. We hop back on the chopper, and with that, 2 missions are out of the way with, and we unlock 2 more achievements with the rescue for veteran difficulty and dancing in the dark for normal. It's time for our first switch, as now instead of playing as SAS with Captain Price, we're in the USMC playing as Sergeant Paul Jackson. We're here to take Al-Assad out after he killed the president, and Charlie Don't Surf is finally the proper introduction on what veteran can put people through, as this is the mission where the deaths really started to add up. Now, even though the deaths were slowly rolling in faster than before, we were still able to slowly move forward closer to hopefully capturing a bastard, and it wasn't long before we arrived at the broadcasting station ready to end this once and for all. Now, this section was tough, a lot of enemies in a lot of small confined spaces, but even that didn't stop us from coming out on top. Unfortunately, as you may expect, Al-Assad isn't there. It's only a recording, so the mission ends and we unlock another achievement with the search. Before we get to go home and put our feet up though, we're told of a tank that's broken down and needs backup. Yours truly is the backup. This is again another mission where no achievements were unlocked besides beating the level, which is fine considering that this is another fun mission with a couple of deaths. It just sees our unit work our way through the streets, smiting down those that need it on the way to the site where the tank is dead in the water. Surprisingly, it doesn't take us long at all to reach it and clear the area of surrounding scum. The only objective left is to blow up an anti-air gun so that the rest of the boys can help out as well. Once the turret's destroyed, we regroup, the mission ends, and we unlock Save the Bacon. Back with Price as the SAS, things have taken a turn for the worst, as the helicopter that we're escaping on is shot down. We don't have time to recover from this crash though, as the search party will soon be on its way, so we need to sprint to safety. And we're also told that an AC-130 is getting ready to provide some much needed support, which sounds wonderful to me. We quietly sneak away from the crash site, just in time to see a farmer getting bullied by some local street toughs. And here is our next achievement. We have to save this humble farmer's life by shooting when instructed. Well, that didn't go well. We try it again, this time not fumbling it hard, and when Farmer Palmer is saved, we unlock Man of the People. This level also gave me the first truly painful section of the veteran run that I would have to get through, as during one of the parts of this mission you are being shot by a helicopter, and I died here so many times, being shot through a window, bombarded with grenades whilst trying to hide, and an onslaught of enemies. It sucked, and it was one of those sections where you kind of ask yourself, is this possible? But yes, it is, as we eventually come out on top and plunge that heli into the cold depths of hell. With the helicopter out of commission, it's time for the AC-130 to get the job done. Now, as this gunner, we have to help the team make their way to the extraction site, and you can't die in this section, so it is a lot of fun to go through. But the only thing worth noting here is that the next achievement we unlocked was for using a single shot to kill 5 enemies at once. Hilariously easily done for straight flush. With that achievement got 5 minutes later, we were able to finish the mission and get our boys to safety. Also unlocking 2 achievements with Death from Above and the Escape. Back with Sergeant Jackson at the bog, we now have to escort the tank that we saved through the battlefield. And honestly, I love this mission. My favourite map in any Call of Duty game by a mile is Crossfire, so being able to work our way through this was wonderful. We died a couple of times of course, but again, there isn't really anything to mention here. We push through the enemies eventually, escort the tank to safety, and get the hell out of there, unlocking another achievement with the bog. The last mission of Act 1 has us once again be a hero as Sergeant Jackson. For this, we're behind a pretty powerful grenade launcher, and we're strategically dropped over the map to help other units. Again, another really fun mission, and this would be the perfect time to unlock another achievement. As for killing 20 enemies with explosives, it will unlock Explosion Man. As you can imagine, here is the place to do that. So we get back to work blowing everything apart. Once done, Explosion Man unlocks. The mission itself isn't the hardest, and it's over fairly soon. However, when leaving, something quite insane happens. Over the radio, we hear reports of a unit that have found an active nuclear bomb. So it is time to really get the hell out. Damn. When the helicopter gets taken out, we unlock the first horseman. The next scene shows the true devastation the nuke has caused in one of the most incredible shots in the series. Unfortunately, that's the end of Sergeant Jackson, who snuffs it immediately. Back with Price, Nikolai says of another safe house where Al-Assad may be hidden. So as before, we sneakily start to work our way through the village looking for the git in question. But unlike before, we actually find him. Perfect timing, as now we get to figure out why he had a nuke. Turns out that he didn't. That nuke wasn't his, it was Imram Zakayev's, who we saw earlier give the gun to Mr. Assad. He is the big bad of the game, so we quickly top Assad off and unlock the next 2 achievements, Wrong Number and the Second Horseman. Now folks, it is time for the best 2 missions in the entire Call of Duty series, and it sees us go back in time as Captain Price to find out his connection to Zakayev. That's right, we're all gillied up and it's time to sneak into Ukraine. Now, we're all familiar with this mission and why it is so amazing, so thankfully I won't need to talk about it much. And well, there isn't really anything to talk about since we're going for the achievement Gillies in the Mist, which means we cannot alert a single enemy throughout the entire mission, making this truly the easiest veteran mission on the list. It only took me and Captain Macmillan about 15 minutes to make our way through the defences and find the hotel in question ready to get the drop on Zakayev. Thankfully, it went smoothly and we didn't alert a single foe, also unlocking Gillies in the Mist. It's time to take the shot. We all know which one. We know that Zakayev is here for a meeting to sell nuclear fuel rods, and we have the perfect and maybe only opportunity to put him down. However, if you haven't guessed yet, we've been replaying the remaster of Modern Warfare, which takes the old graphics and chucks them for the lovely crisp ones. But they actually added added an amazing Easter egg achievement for this mission. Now, in Modern Warfare 3, if you're not aware, at one point in the campaign, Makarov brings Yuri to this very meeting, and for the remaster of this game, they actually added both of them in the scene. For the achievement, we have to stop the future and nail Makarov right now, only it's not that easy and I miss a bunch of times. So we decide to be a madman. The plan is to shoot Zakhaev and then Makarov. Two birds with two bullets, and thankfully that works. The actual kill shot is covered by the bastard heli, but Time Paradox also unlocks a great Easter egg. Now, as you may guess, it wasn't the kill shot on Zakhaev though. He only lost an arm for his troubles. So we have to escape on the double. We run away from humans, dogs, and Macmillan even has a close shave, resulting in us having to cart him to one of the most annoying sections in this entire campaign. It's not all bad news though, as in this section we also survive our first true dog attack. Sorry Peter, but it was necessary for Down Boy Down. As long as we don't have to kill any more dogs for achievements later on, I'm sure we'll be fine. Now, the reason the end of this mission sucks on Veteran is that once you plot Macmillan down, you have to wait for an evac, and a swarm of enemies barrage you endlessly. Dying here is far too easy, and honestly, I don't really understand how this makes sense. Enemies run around a corner and then start immediately pre-firing at somebody in a ghillie suit buried in grass. Why are we wearing ghillie suits if they don't work? But we're still getting shot, so we decide to take revenge. As when a chopper comes in to bring more enemy reinforcements, we take them out on the rappel down, and for killing 3 on a single rope, we unlock another achievement with reinforcement denied. The rest of the mission took about an hour to get through, and we died a lot. However, we eventually come out on top once again. In the helicopter safe and sound, we fly away and unlock another 2 achievements with Piggyback Ride and The Shot. Back in the present day, we have to push the enemy forces back until the Americans arrive for a joint task force. We do this easily by finding a tower with a hilarious amount of RPGs, and use every single one of them instantly. Now, I'm just a maniac, but apparently this is also an achievement, so lucky coincidence I guess. Either way, we unlock the man in the high tower. Again with this mission, however, we die several times in tough spots against the Horde, but we do our duty for king and country, and we are able to hold back the forces until the forces of our own arrive. With them touching down, the mission ends and we plan the next move. Now, since Zakhaev has gone underground into hiding, our thinking is that if we happen to accidentally come into possession of his son, we can draw him out and hopefully shoot him in the head this time. So capturing Viktor Zakhaev is our next step. Fortunately as well, we know exactly where he is, so we put our best extraction boots on and get to work. We have some good news as well folks, as with the very start of this mission we also find half of the collectible intels in the game. Once 15 entire PC setups have been slid into our back pocket, we unlock the first of 2 related achievements, Look Sharp. After that, we are able to sneak our way into the camp where Viktor is meant to be arriving, and we've done him the favour of replacing his security. But once again, things don't go exactly to plan. When he arrives, Viktor is able to escape on foot because he's got that tracksuit with the Go Faster stripes on them, and we begin chase. Since we're built different though, we're able to track him down and eventually get him cornered. It's over with nowhere to run, so Viktor hands himself on over. To death? That's right, he rage quits. Pathetic. Not the end of the world though, as with this the mission is over and we unlock yet another 2 achievements with Desperate Measures and the Third Horseman. Zakhaev, fueled by the rage of his son's death though, decides to take control of an ICBM launch facility with the intent on nuking the US in retaliation. We can't be having that, so it's time to sneak into the facility, take it over once again, and then track down and finally put an end to the angry bald man. Unfortunately folks, this is where Veteran really ramps it up. Now, the start of the mission wasn't too bad. Above ground, fighting foot soldiers and tanks was surprisingly easy, but when we rappel down into the facility, oh my god, it becomes torture. Every section is an incredibly tight hallway with no cover and tons of enemies ready to pre-fire on you at any given moment. It's not all pain, as we unlock another fairly easy achievement in these tunnels as well. As when an enemy goes into last stand, we decide no, cut him up a little bit and unlock No Rest for the Weary, before getting annihilated immediately after. Now, it turns out that Zakhaev has actually already fired the nuke and it is set for America as we speak. So we are against the clock here and really need to figure out how to make it through these horrendously difficult sections. But that's when I remembered the noob tube. Oh, an old friend that I had been neglecting rather horribly. So we corrected that and began to bomb the ever-loving hell out of anything that even looks organic. And this worked a treat. Don't get me wrong, we still died several times, but we had our key to victory. And thankfully thankfully the worst is behind us, as we managed to make it to the control room with minutes to spare, shutting the nuke down and preventing America from getting a lot emptier. With that complete, we need to run as every single enemy force under the sun is coming for us, and with that, we're on the final mission of the game. Here we also unlock the ultimatum as well. It is game over time, and the start of the mission has Price, Gaz, Briggs, and everybody else speeding away from the facility, whilst the enemies are in hot pursuit. They add a couple of deaths to this tally, as it is insanely easy to get domed in the back of your car, but we were able to get the better of them. That is until a helicopter enters the scene, and it makes a right mess of things when it blows up the bridge and sends us all flying out. But it's over. Briggs tries to drag us to safety and takes a bullet for his troubles, then Zakayev walks on scene. Finally, we're toe-to-toe with the smeghead, but when he immediately pops and kills Gaz as well, it doesn't look like it's going to be a win for us. That is until the backup arrives and takes out their chopper, distracting them for just enough time for Price to slip us a pistol and for us to take the most important shot of the game. And thankfully, we didn't fumble it either. Zakayev is down permanently, and reinforcements take us to safety. Folks, that's it. The game ends with the news saying nothing of the recent attacks, making sure that the public never know of the amazing work any of us have just done. Never mind, but for completing the last mission in the game, we unlock the Fourth Horseman, and for completing the entire campaign on veteran difficulty, we unlock Deep and Hard, and finally win the war for just beating it. Folks, there we go. A fantastic nostalgic hit with some pretty decent new graphics. However, we're a bit away yet, as we still have to get every achievement that we missed, get the rest of the collectibles, and move on to the final task of the game, the Mile High Club. So let's quickly wrap up the side stuff now, and we can get to the pain that no doubt you all came here to see. The next 4 achievements were all got on the first mission of the game. We'll have to do a couple of playthroughs for them, but our first run gets us 3. Firstly, we knife 3 enemies to death in a row. Easily done, but I was too scared on veteran to really try it here, so we chopped our way to 3 of a kind. The next 2 are for completing a level without reloading and completing a level with only using your knife. So again, 2 birds with 1 stone here, and oh my god, easy difficulty is insane. You feel like an unkillable tank that can just walk past enemies, and after veteran it was bizarre. But because of this, also quick, and with that we were able to finish the mission very rapidly, unlocking both Retro Shooter and Master Ninja. With that we reload the mission, as it is the only place that the Desert Eagle spawns, and for another precious unlock we need to kill 5 people with it. So we find the man who holds it, stop him holding it, hold it ourselves, and hollow out a couple of nearby goons, unlocking Desert Storm. Now at the start of the video I said about needing to retry the course to get a time of 15 seconds. Well, that's where we go next. This achievement was certainly trickier than the one before it, however it only took us a couple more attempts to finally hit the beautiful time and unlock best of the best. We're then taken back to the ghillie suits for our next couple of achievements. Now at the start of the mission a helicopter flies over your head at some point. The first time we ignored it, this time we smite it down with a Stinger for man versus machine. The next achievement was a weird one. Now I'm really not a dog person, but even I was shocked by this. As for dogs, I hate dogs. We have to stab 20 dogs with our knife. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. But something I must unfortunately do. Now I know not the best thing you want to watch, however it is for good, as when we eventually do it we unlock Dogs I Hate Dogs. And now I hate myself too. Anyway, moving on. From taking life now to saving it. The next achievement we have is to save a fellow Marine on the stairs by shooting his would-be killer. Easily done. In fact, I already did this in the veteran playthrough, but for some reason the achievement didn't pop. So this time we do it even more properly and unlock Rescue Roysowitz, followed very instantly by blowing 2 enemies up with 1 car explosion for roadkill. Next was again another pain in the ass. For Your Show Sucks, we have to destroy every single TV that's showing Al-Assad's speech in Charlie Don't Serve, and I have heard a lot of pain about this one, but we cautiously got to work, leaving no stone unturned and no TV screen unshattered. At the end of the mission I take out the final couple and pray that the achievement unlocks, as after spending 30 minutes looking for the damn things I don't want to have to do it again. Very thankfully though, it pops immediately, unlocking us Your Show Sucks. Straight afterwards we shot a heli down with an RPG for Bird on the Ground, then did it 7 more times in the same mission, unlocking Fly Swatter as well. Back in the bog we then destroy all 4 tanks on the bridge with the Javelin instead of just the poxy one like I did the first time, unlocking Feel the Heat. And folks, we are almost done. The next achievement was a rather intimidating one. Get a kill with every available weapon in the game. Now this may sound easy, but it doesn't actually tell you which one's your or missing, so I was terrified that I wouldn't be able to find the couple I'd missed. But it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought. We got most of them throughout the campaign, and it only took a couple of kills with the rarer ones for weapon masters to finally pop. Anyway, with that, we only have 2 achievements left. The next was to just round up the few remaining bits of intel we needed for eyes and ears, and folks, I'm glad to say that it's finally time. In Mile High Club, we have to run through an incredibly overcrowded plane in under a minute, get to the end and save the hostage, all on Veteran. Yeah, this is no easy task at all, and I have heard stories of people being stuck here for weeks. So keen to get this over with, we loaded into the first attempt. Yeah, alright, of course, who the hell is gonna get it on their first try? Don't be ridiculous. Still though, let's just give it another go.
Weapon free. Tango down in section 1 Alpha. Hostile neutralized. Target neutralized. Move. Hostile neutralized. We got a hole! Get down! Get down! Target neutralized. Tango down. Don't want you fire up here. We're looking for a civilian.
Yep, our second attempt. We did Mile High Club on our second go. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna put that shit on my CV. But there we go, folks. I honestly can't believe it, but that's one of the hardest achievements in the Call of Duty series and the last one we needed for them all on this game. So when we jump out of the plane, we get a pretty picture and unlock Mile High Club. And there we are, one of the first shooters that I ever got properly addicted to is complete. And this nostalgic blast from the past is complete, which is great on one hand, but terrible on the other, as that means for now, the grind is over. Modern Warfare honestly was so much fun to go through. The remaster also helps deliver a new shock to the moments that I already knew coming, like the nuke explosion and stuff like that. Truly, these were the best days of COD, and it breaks my heart to see what kind of shite they're pumping out now. But at least we can always come back to these classics and enjoy COD for what it was, not what it's become. Anyway, let's get on to the stats. For Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remaster, it took us just over 10 hours to grind all 50 achievements that come with the game. My rating for this game is going to be a very solid 8 out of 10. Now, I can't lie, nostalgia is the key factor here. As I said at the start, the Modern Warfare trilogy specifically, but old classic CODs have such a big place in my heart. And to give Modern Warfare anything less than an 8 would have been a spit in the face. For the difficulty of the achievements, I am going to be giving it a 4 out of 10. Now, the Veteran campaign isn't the hardest out of the COD collection that there is. Most of the Call of Duty games have harder Veteran campaigns. So that, on top of a little bit of grinding, makes for a difficult game, but Mile High Club is what truly rockets this to a 4 out of 10. I got incredibly lucky with Mile High Club. I cannot believe I got it on my second attempt. I don't know what I did for that luck, but I'm taking it. That, of course, as well, is going to be the hardest achievement in this game to complete as well. Mile High Club, Veteran, it's a pain, but yeah, I'm sure most people will be able to do it eventually. But there we go, folks. That is another grind done. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm honestly not too sure if I'm going to be covering more CODs in the future. I did do this just as a one and done for my parents. However, if you folks want to see more COD, make sure you like, comment and subscribe to really let me know, and I'm sure we can figure something out. And whilst you're down there, why don't you swing by the Twitch as well, where we go for all of the achievement grinds live. It would be lovely to have you watching my suffering, and trust me, right now, suffering is all I'm pretty much doing. So I really hope to see you there. Other than that, folks, thank you again for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you in a future video, so until then, my friends, thank you once again, take care of yourselves, bye-bye for now.